Hey everyone, welcome back here on the J&J Talk Show. Happy Thursday, September 16th, 2021. We are live through the StreamYard studio to you on Facebook. Please let me know down in the comments if there's been any delay, lag in audio or video. We are working on trying something new, so bear with us. I want to try to head back to StreamYard because I really enjoy this application online to post our videos. I hope everyone's having a great week so far. I know I have. There's been a lot of amazing action going on in the sports world today. There you go. Let's try that. And, it's been a crazy week. I mean, you have several people, baseball going on. We discussed that on a live episode last week. We had, or earlier this week, were all the matchups and everything that you need to know for this week in baseball. We have had new champions crowned throughout the week. So we've also had, we also got NFL Week 2, amazing end of Week 1 back on Monday, where the Las Vegas Raiders defeated the Baltimore Ravens. So that was an amazing game to watch. And, I was kind of optimistic and skeptic about watching or having that primetime game back on Monday, but it turned out to be a really good game, and I really enjoyed it. So, hopefully there's more great primetime games to come down the road. We have a lot of going on. So today's episode or segment is going to be solely on the NFL. What you need to know coming into the second week of the NFL. And so I know my partner earlier yesterday. So if you haven't gotten a chance, head over to Facebook, JJ Talk Show. And every week we are posting a new page, NFL games for the week, and me and my partner are commenting who's going to win. And we would like you guys to join in and let us know who you think every game is going to win of each and every week. So last week here, and I just took the tallies early this morning. I'm late to the game. Out of the games I won last week is 13 games. My partner, Justin, as well, he only won 7 games. So he already posted his pick for the NFL Week 2. I will be posting mine here in a little bit after the live stream. I will give you my picks right here as we kind of briefly go over NFL Week 2 that starts tonight between the New York Giants and the Washington football team, which isn't a terrible matchup. I enjoyed their performance last week, and that's going to be, some of these games are going to be hard to select. But I will do my best to select them as we approach week 2. Like I said, if you want to play along, please play along. Go over to Facebook, go to J&J Talk Show, follow the page, then go to the page from there, and then select your picks. Find the post, select your picks, play along. Who knows? We get some people out of it. We can make it more fun and make it more creative. We've had an exciting week. Like I said, new championships crowned. Big E won the WWE championship on Monday after cashing in the Money in the Bank. A fatal 4-way match on NXT back on Tuesday was Tommaso Ciampa winning the NXT championship. So congratulations to them. They are taking new approaches, and we will get into our program this weekend on another episode of the J&J Talk Show. But I want to make sure I give a proper shout out to those people that are that just won their championships this week. Hopefully they're good runs. Tommaso, great champion. Big E, great champion, well deserved. So I can't complain. I'm excited to see what the future lies for them down the road. So, we talked about baseball earlier this week, and I'm telling you, you don't want to miss any action. Um, we have a lot of great games going on this weekend. And listen, I am really huge among going after the National League. I'm a National League guy. I grew up watching and supporting teams from the National League. And I love the style of play. I love the strategy that it involves in playing. So I love National League baseball. And so, with that being said, and I'm not taking a biased opinion and I'm not trying to solely focus, but right now, I just know more about National League baseball. I mean, I know everything going on in American League baseball right now. You have the Yankees, the Blue Jays, and the Red Sox, as of today, tied for both of the wild card standings, with Oakland and Seattle a few games out. You have 2 weeks, coming up right here, the next 2 weeks, with baseball wrapping up. It's a really close race. Congratulations to the Los Angeles Dodgers for winning clinching the next spot in the postseason. Now it's either going to be the Dodgers or the Giants. Going to be one's going to make it a wild card, one's going to win the division. What will happen? I mean, the schedule is still so far out. So congratulations to the Giants and to the Dodgers to be the first two teams to clinch in all of baseball this year in 2021. Hopefully that by this weekend we get some other teams clinching. Who will clinch divisions? Hopefully we start seeing that soon. But I can't stress enough on the team games to watch. If you're looking for something to watch, and we'll get more into this in tomorrow. Yep, you heard that right. We will be back tomorrow morning. I can't stress enough to emphasize, if you had nothing to do this weekend, and between college, between the NFL, baseball's also there to watch. And I know it has taken a turn. It's hard to watch these games all the time. It is. It's difficult, even for me. As much as a baseball fan I am, it is really difficult for me to sit there and watch and tune into a 9-inning game alone, if that means goes to extra innings. We know that baseball has made efforts to, shorten up the game by things like the shorter of the commercial breaks, the amount of batters the pitchers have to face coming into games. That's come down to 3. The extra inning rule, where they put a runner on second base to start out every top and bottom half of the inning. You also have, like, if you had a double header from 9-inning game to 7-inning games, which I think are great, but is, that 20-second in between batter, time limit that you have to start pitching to the next batter. But especially around this time, and you will notice it especially more into postseason, it is hard to watch the game. It is hard to get through each and every inning. And because it's not a time frame. It's not football. It's not basketball. It's not soccer. There is a time frame there's no time frame for baseball. NFL, you got 15 minutes a quarter. That's 60 minutes total of regulation gameplay. Anything after 60 minutes is overtime, and they only go an extra 10 minutes on overtime. Once the clock, they could throw passes day and night, but once that clock hits 0, it's done. So I know that there is a controversy and it's harder to watch, and therefore a lot of people don't really pay attention to baseball as much anymore. They'll tune in to highlights and whatnot, of course. But I really encourage you this weekend, and I'll just give you a prime example. This weekend, there's 2 huge games going on in the National League. The Dodgers are over in Cincinnati, and then the Padres are over in St. Louis. 2 West and Central Coast games. because both teams, or all four teams, as the Dodgers try to clinch and try to gain advantage over the Giants in the West, in the division, you still have three of those four teams looking for a wild card spot. And a lot can be said and done. I mean, the Phillies over in New York can face the Mets, which one of them could be potentially knocked out of the playoffs by the end of this weekend. We'll get more into that tomorrow's episode on things to watch, things to look out for. But today we are primarily tuning into football. Yeah, the NFL week 2. We had an amazing week 1. Okay. I mean, it started off with the Buccaneers beating the Cowboys in Tampa Bay. I mean, it doesn't matter what the score was at the end of the day. It was a really good game. I loved the game. I enjoyed it a lot. And the fact that I didn't even watch majority of the game, I still enjoyed it. And you had a lot of great games. I mean, you had Lawrence over in Jacksonville making his debut. The Chargers beating the Washington football team last week. I mean, Bengals winning in overtime, which like I said, I mentioned last week, one of the divisions to really look out for this year in AFC is that North team. I mean, with Baltimore now losing, you had Cleveland losing, Pittsburgh won, Cincinnati won. I mean, I know it's only week 1, but those are just what we had a taste of last week. Kansas City beating Cleveland, New Orleans beating the Packers. Remember last week I was concerned. I was concerned how with the departure of Drew Brees, who ran the Saints for several years, took them to Super Bowls. I was concerned how the Saints were going to overcome the Packers. And I didn't know this until game day, but the game was held in Jacksonville because of the weather conditions and everything that was going on in New Orleans. So a lot of great games. I mean, Arizona, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and Seattle won last week. So the NFC West, I told you that was going to be a force to be reckoned with this year. They all won their first game. Denver, all the AFC West all won their game. Yes, Chargers, Chiefs, Denver, and Vegas, and the Raiders won their game last week. I mean, we ended off the NFL weekend on Monday Night Football with a great overtime. If I was not mistaken, they mentioned that Monday Night Football did not have an overtime game since the 1970s. And so, I mean, listen, you had all the bells and whistles coming into the NFL this past week. Opening week, everything coming back. The concerns and the approach how NFL teams are going to handle as COVID starts spiking up this year or this fall time. And it was just, for the moment of time, no one cared about anything else in the world. It was just football. And I liked about that. I really did. I really enjoyed it. So now we approach week 2, the start of the Giants and the Washington football team. I will quickly, as I go over these quick games, and I'm not going to actually analyze each and every game. I'm going to kind of highlight games that I want to highlight. I would also go ahead and give you my partner's pick, and I will go ahead and make my selection here as well. So bear with us. We're going to go over these games. Is all 16 games this year or this week in football, starting with tonight's game, going to Monday's game, which is going to be the Packers and the Lions. And I think there's some more interesting games, some things to even look out for. And so just keep an eye on as we approach football this weekend. The first 3 weeks, I really enjoy watching because we sit there and all the teams that lost last week. You think about the teams that lost. Well, Houston Well, they picked up their victory, but Cleveland lost. Indianapolis lost. Jacksonville lost. Baltimore lost. Cleveland lost. Dallas lost. So those are just a handful of games that lost. So one of the things that are interesting to notice is this, statistics coming into this game this week and to next week, because teams that go 0-2 and if not 0-3 have a very much more difficult time making it to the postseason because they're just so far behind. And I mean, we see it rarely. I think we saw it last year in the NFC East, how because that division was just so torn apart, it was even just a struggle to get to 500 on the season. But now, as we approach this week, does those statistics still stand, or do they make a different approach? We got the Giants and we got the Washington football team. Now, I believe Washington's QB is hurt. I'm not quite sure about that. I know he got hurt last week. I don't know the status of him playing this week. I saw something promising out of the Giants this week. I know my partner picked the Giants, but I'm also going to go with the Giants tonight in tonight's primetime Thursday night football game. The Saints and the Panthers, I had a tremendous, like I said, I was skeptic on how without Drew Brees can the Saints hold off. And I'm very comfortable after their performance against the Packers last week, considering they're facing Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. I'm very comfortable with how the Saints performed. And so I am going to go with my partner again and pick the Saints over Carolina. Cincinnati and Chicago. Oh, Lord. I think this is a really good primetime. This is going to be a really good game. We saw something exciting coming out of Cincinnati. First time in a long time. Not only they beat the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, okay, so first of all, if you watch the game, and let me just give you briefly, they should have won the game without going overtime. They had a comfortable lead, and they played Cincinnati Bengal football. And they come back, and the Vikings come back to tie it, led them in overtime, and then the Bengals go on and win. I don't want to jump to conclusions quite yet. I want to give them a few weeks before I start really giving you more of an analytic view on how these teams turn out. But I got that feeling is that if the game, like the Vikings game last Sunday, is going to be anything of how the Bengals season is going to be this year, then the Bengals are going to get fatigued very early on in the season. And I'm not sure if I'm, and I want to root for them, because they have a promising team. I mean, I saw great things out of them on Sunday in the game, but my concern is that, okay, that goes to 4 or 5, 2 months down the road. We get into December. Can they maintain that? And especially now adding one additional game and advancing to 18 weeks in the season. How much of that can they stand? They're kind of like, I guess, the resemblance of the Reds in baseball for them. They will be, I believe that they could hold out for a majority of the season. But when they get into the dog days, when everyone's tired, everyone's banged up, and they're playing all these close games, that is my concern. They're facing the Bears, who did lose against the Rams. I know Andy Dalton played, but will Justin Fields play this week? First home game. So I'm up in the air. But if Cincinnati shows up like they did last week, I'm going to go ahead and jump on the gun and go Cincinnati over the Bears. And that's all depending. I mean, I'm making this pick on Thursday, but if they decide to put Fields in on Sunday, then I believe maybe the Bears have a better chance of winning his first game on home. Like I said, Cincinnati has to show up. Houston and Cleveland. You know what? Cleveland's at home. I'm jumping on Cleveland. They had a great game against Kansas City last week. I know Houston won. My partner chose Houston, but I'm going Cleveland. I think this is a start to their season. They had a really good testament last week. They come home and, listen, they're looking to repeat themselves. They accomplished so much last season. They want to do more. They want to go for it. That they are a team in the NFL. So I'm going Cleveland over Houston. Chargers or the Rams, I'm sorry, are over in Indianapolis. I'm going to go with the Rams. They had a good performance last week on Sunday Night Football. I think that continues into Indy. Denver and my partner also chose the Rams. Denver over Jacksonville. Jacksonville's home. This is when Lawrence wants to get the first win, and I think he will get the first win. I think the rest of the season may be difficult for him. Listen, the jitterbugs, all that stress, and all that stuff that first game of the season, you get scared, you get tempted. This is all comes out. I think they came out in Houston. They come home, and I think that then Jacksonville will pick up the victory. Jacksonville is also my partner's pick as well. Buffalo and Miami. I know they both come off a win. Buffalo just has so much more than Miami right now. I know. Well, Buffalo actually lost last week. I apologize. So they have a little bit more fighting to it. I don't see Miami going 2-0. I'd be impressed. I just don't see it. New England and the Jets. I'm kind of nervous on how the Patriots are going to look. I mean, they didn't win last week. They're facing the Jets. I think the Jets has a little bit more going on for them. They're at home. First home game of the season. The Jets, I think they, have a little bit better idea. I think the Patriots are still kind of I think they lost a huge guy out of Cam Newton last week, or when they let him go earlier late during the preseason. So the Jets over the Patriots. So I picked them, the Jets, as well as my partner. San Francisco and Philadelphia. My partner picked Philadelphia. Philadelphia's home. I'm going with the 49ers. And this is going to be more of a biased opinion. I used to, before I became a Rams fan, I used to be a Niners fan. I was actually lost, for a team. I was living in San Diego, so I was solely into the Chargers. The problem I had with the Chargers was each time they made it to the postseason, they could not complete that postseason game. And that was concerning. Every time that the game was on the line, they couldn't execute. And that's what led to the struggles of becoming a Charger supporter. I think what also sealed the deal, and this is more of a personal subject, when the Spanos family decided to up and leave to LA after the Rams decided that they were going to be in Los Angeles. I really, really thought that the Rams or that the Chargers should have held out in San Diego and they would have got own their own stadium eventually. But they decide to abandon San Diego. And they packed up and they moved to LA. And I just haven't seen the positive or the benefits out of it. I know it turned a lot of heads. I know a lot of San Diego fans left and stopped supporting the Chargers. I know that the true diehard fans still keep up with them, but I know that some of them still have a bad taste in their mouth. And I still do. It just sucks. But I want to be a Charger fan. I want the Chargers to play well. I want them to do good. But it's hard to do that when they up and they leave 2 hours away, and they didn't get nothing out of it. I mean, they have a horrible deal with the Rams that they're not really making anything out of it. So, in my opinion. Oh, that's just a whole nother subject right there. But the Niners, I was a Niners fan up until they the whole situation with Kaepernick and Alex Smith. Not Kaepernick in the personal outside of football situation. It was the whole playoff run where they decided to bench Smith after he came back from his injuries to go with Kaepernick, and I feel like a lot of that cost them their Super Bowl opportunity against the Baltimore Ravens. Also, so the Vegas Raiders are over in Pittsburgh. Um, I would go with Pittsburgh this week. But here's my thing, and I did watch a good amount of Monday Night Football. I watched how the Raiders played. They came back from behind. They probably should have lost that game, but John Gruden, after a few years back, COVID hits last year, obviously bad times. They got their feet wet. Now they're sitting here. Well, they come into Monday Night Football and they really showed a lot, and they showed a lot to how well they could play and what to expect out of them. So I expect a lot of great things. I think this year for the Raiders, it's a statement. You have to statement, and I think they go into Pittsburgh and they beat the Steelers. Unfortunately, we're going to get a lot of turns around here for that. But I think Vegas Raiders defeat the Steelers, and they have the momentum, they have the young talent, and they have an inspiring head coach that he knows now properly synced with Derek Carr. He could just do so much. My partner also picked the Las Vegas Raiders. Minnesota Vikings over Arizona Cardinals. I told you guys last week, I loved how the Cardinals are playing. They're going to be, with picking up of AJ Green. They have so many young talents with Kyle Murray. Arizona, I think, last couple years developing this team this year as they still develop, but they're now having multiple seasons seeing the same guys. I think they're, this is a tough division over there in the NFC West, and Arizona is going to stay in the hunt for a long time, for quite a while. Tampa Bay over Atlanta. I think we're going Tampa Bay. By the way, my partner picked Arizona and Tampa Bay on that one as well. If I forget to mention my partner's picking on this one, or if you missed out on a game so far, you can always head over to our Facebook page. He already has his posted up on there. I will get mine posted up after this live stream here, but you could check out our picks over there. Dallas Cowboys and the Los Angeles Chargers, and I will have to say my partner pissed the Cowboys. Cowboys, they had a tough loss last week. The Chargers won last week, but it wasn't a fashionable win, and they actually faced the Washington football team that I don't really think is all the way complete. And if Kirk Cousins or whoever that quarterback, and I apologize for not being more intelligent about this, but if he didn't get hurt throughout the game, I don't think the Chargers would have held on. I may be wrong. I don't watch all the game. But I'm going with my partner, the Dallas Cowboys, in this game over the Chargers. Tennessee and Seattle, I'm going Seattle, especially if there's fans in Seattle. I'm excited to see the Seahawks back in Seattle again. I don't know about you, but I'm definitely intrigued and excited to see that happen. Kansas City and Baltimore. This is a Sunday night football game, and you can't. This is a primetime game, and I wouldn't trade this game for anything else because Kansas City's 1-0, Baltimore's 1-0. Lamar Jackson needs a victory. They desperately need a victory. We talked about the teams that go 0-2, the chances of going back to the postseason, and how tough their division is this year with Pittsburgh, with Cincinnati wanting to make a statement this year, with everyone being healthy, with Cleveland wanting to return back to the postseason after their performance last year. Pittsburgh, Big Ben wants to stay in the spotlight. There's no room for error. And last week, the Ravens made an error, and they cost him a loss. And to start the season off 0-2, that will be a very difficult thing to do. But the thing is that we saw Kansas City last week against Cleveland. And I know that they're on the road, but Kansas City is not letting up. They are the dominant of the decade, and they're going to be around for a long time. So unless Kansas City slips up, I said if this was maybe a different weather condition game, which I don't think so, unless the game is raining, possibly. I don't think so. If this is a clear day, I think Baltimore has a really good chance of winning. Now, out here on the East Coast, you're starting to see certain areas that start dying down in the weather, and okay, that's something. But overall, Kansas City goes over to Baltimore, and I think they beat Baltimore. My partner also picked Kansas City. He as well picked Tennessee. I picked Seattle. If you didn't get that earlier, and then last but not least, Monday night football, another primetime game. Maybe not the best spotlight game to have, but the Detroit Lions over in Green Bay, after Green Bay lost last week against New Orleans, they have something to fight for. These two teams are 0-1 on the season. I mean, I would love to see Jared Goff go into Green Bay and Lambeau Field and beat the Packers and have them start off in 0-2. I think the Packers are one of the only teams. They usually, they can get off to a slow start and they can still come back and win this division. We've seen similar stuff like that happen. Between Detroit, though, if you are Detroit and you're looking to make a run this year, you need a victory this week. And it starts this week. You lost last week at a game that you probably should have won. You lost last week against. I got to look at my notes. You lost last week against San Francisco at home. I don't think you could afford 2 weeks. I mean, Detroit's coming out to a tough season already. But just like my partner, I am going to actually go with Green Bay. I know what needs to happen, but I think Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers settles down back at home and he performs in front of his crowd. So that is our week 2 NFL picks. Me and my partner, like I said, you could head over to our Facebook page and follow the page. Go to the page. Scroll down to our weeks. I'll post mine up here momentarily, but come join us and pick with us. Takes 3 minutes. Pick the winners of each and every game this week and post it down. Leave it down in the comments and let's compare notes. I had 13 wins last week. My partner has 7 wins last week. And, let's do it for fun. I want to get people involved. That's the way to get people involved. So that's just something that we like to do. So, I know the last couple episodes has been through YouTube Studio. And I love YouTube Studio. Very simple way. But I am back here on StreamYard. You can see wherever the camera is, you can see our logo up there. And I like it back. I really enjoy the logo. You saw our entrance today. You see the bars down below. So we're back on the YouTube Studio. Okay. We will be back again tomorrow. Everything that you need to know. Tune in tomorrow. We will be back Friday, September 17th, probably about 9 or 10, same time. And join us as we take you into the weekend. College, baseball, NFL, key highlights game. I know we went all over the game, but the keys, the things that you need to know heading into this weekend of sports. We're also starting to get into the holidays. So we're going to start making that approach over the next few weeks. So that as well. We like to once again congratulate so far Big E and Tommaso Ciampa on their victories and their title chances as well. I'd like to give a special shout out to our good friend Trey, who also has been promoting our channel so much. Thank you for our promotion. Hopefully, you guys could give me feedback on how this live stream did. I know our very first live stream, there was a huge error. I know there was a lot of things running and going on at the time. I'm hoping on my end, I see things good. Maybe some things here and there. But on my end, I see a very good stream going on. But as you guys watch it, let us know. Is there an overlay, separation? Is it clear? Are the microphones clear? Can you hear me? Let me know in the comments so that you could, we can make those adjustments. Also, thank you. Listen, if you're tuning this live, YouTube at the J and J Talk Show. So subscribe, like, and share. Get our content out there. If you like it, if you know someone who would like listening to this stuff, get us out there as well. Also, this weekend, let me also like to give a shout out to our logo up here, Place It, who provided us a licensings to create our logos and advertise it. I also like to give a shout out to StreamYard, which is the studio that I'm going through right now to put this on and make this live for you as much as possible. Also, as you can read down below, tune in this weekend as we review Extreme Rules match card that's coming up next Sunday, September 27th, 2021. That will be on Saturday as we review that Saturday. And then you could tune us in on Sunday for another episode of the J&J Talk Show. So we got this one here today. Tune in. If you didn't see Tuesday one, go back and watch the baseball one. We got tomorrow, everything that you need to know in the world of sports coming up this weekend. We also got Saturday, Extreme Rules segment, where we go over the match card. And then Sunday, another episode of the J&J Talk Show. We have a busy weekend ahead of you. Yes, there's a lot of stuff planning to go ahead. So tune us in, make some time, follow us, like us, share us. Go over to our Facebook page, the JJ Talk Show. And listen, we appreciate you guys tuning in, checking us out, seeing what we're about. Leave us down in the comments if you want to know something else. Is there something else of different content you want to know? I've already been advised that, since WWE isn't performing at its greatest, you want us to start covering some of the other independent leagues around in professional wrestling, AEW, Impact Wrestling, Ring of Honor, and that's fine. We're going to work on that as time progresses, but I think it's important that we get these informations out to you. So, on behalf of the J&J Talk Show, we thank you for tuning in, and until tomorrow, you guys have a wonderful day.